fixing the country. I was in Turkey when I read it, and I said, oh boy, it has gotten to that, where one speaks his mind and they kill him. This is how I felt until I came back to Ghana and I got to know the true story of it. Who is causing problems? Other people have died because of false reportage. You see, we are all losing the facts because we are not looking at where the problem started. The problem is from the media.
You mean the report that came out?
Right. Infuriated the youth.
No, was it not Fix the Country people who claimed that the person who has been killed is their member and they wanted a meeting with the police?
What was put out there, those of us who were not in the country, was that Fix the Country member has been killed. And it is not me alone in Turkey, but Ghana here, those not in Nigeria, who also think, yeah, indeed, he was killed because of what he was doing. Not knowing it has its own problem.
It has nothing to do with politics.
It has nothing to do with politics. And look at the results.
Other people died.
Right. Because of false reportage. They are not looking at that angle. My brother, we have to be careful in this country. The way we give information, the way we come out, especially with the social media.
Yeah, I think it's more social media. Maybe, I don't know whether the media actually reported it as factual information.
Well, now they are part of you, so you can't run away.
Media, but social media is everybody's, you and me. It's what you write on Facebook.
You can't run away.
What
I don't write
Facebook.
anything. I don't have time.
I know you may not write, but a lot of the youth are writing.
You know, so we have to be careful. And again, politicians are also part of the problem. Because they don't care killing human beings to come to power. But the Bible says, you know, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his life? You want to come to power? So you're going to kill brothers, sisters, because of power? And when they are talking like that, they forget that one day they are also going to die.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to this edition of Good Evening Ghana. Thank you very much for your time. Today, we have in the studio Mr. George Opariado, the leader of Tuesday's demonstration, to speak to us in the studio about many, many, many things. But we have two important items to start. And George Opariado will join us in a short while. He's already in the studio, and we are grateful for his attendance to our program at a short notice. 13 minutes past the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. This is Good Evening Ghana, and it's live. Controversial issues that we have to discuss is, what's the media's role in Nigeria? You know that the conversation about Nigeria now has been, could the media be responsible for what happened? So we have been digging, and we have formulated some questions for you, our viewers, to answer. Whether or not this happened, whether or not that happened. If that happened, is it a violation of the Communications Act? The Communications Act, Section 71, I believe. We'll put it out on the screen for you to have a look at, and then you can make your own informed decision. But we will start with the raging story. Yesterday, Parliament announced that it had approved under Article 71, the report of a committee set up by the President. Under that committee's recommendations, Parliament had approved spousal salary for Her Excellency the First Lady and also Her Excellency the Second Lady. This was to extend to First and Second Ladies whose husbands had retired from office. All kinds of controversy. We have our own view on the matter, and we have read on social media what people think. The society and the opinions are divided. So there are those who think that, no, you can't do that. Why are you paying First Lady? And you are paying them so much money, and you're paying them from 2017. And we understand that Mrs. Nadu Mills, the widow of Professor Mills, former president, has declined, rejected the offer. We don't know who else has rejected. So one opinion says that, no, you don't have to pay them money at this time. What do they do? Then there's another opinion that says that, no, wait a minute. Be sober. Let's listen to this. We all saw Rebecca Akufo-Addo doing some work at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, the children's department that had not been built for 38 odd years or so, that had been on the budgets for that long. She mobilized resources in her capacity as First Lady, raised money from corporate Ghana and other sources and was able to get it constructed. We know that she has also done something at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital by raising money. We know that Mrs. Samira Baumia had also done something in the area of getting kids to read more and expand their library, expand library services across the country. We know that other First Ladies, Nana Kunedu, Ajiman Rollins, they know that she did marvelously well as First Lady. So that opinion says that no, First Ladies actually do something. And for whatever they do, the government has to remunerate their office. They have offices in Accra. The First Lady has an office. People can go and see her. People go and see her with their complaint. People who feel that they have been cheated in a tender, they go to the First Lady. They tap into her female instinct. She looks at the tender. Well, this is bad. Let me run it by Daddy and see. Because Daddy is the one who holds the power under Article 58 of the Constitution. So First Ladies do things that they say the general public does not see. And they do things too that we see. So the opinion is that instead of allowing the state to remunerate them in a manner that we don't see, that we can't scrutinize, let them be paid. And so we can scrutinize and know what they are doing and know how much money is going to them so that we can value it properly and know what the taxpayers' money is doing. Where does your opinion lie today? We'll talk to you about that. And that's our first story. Because tonight, Abronya DC has taken out a writ at the Supreme Court against the Attorney General to ask the Attorney General why are First Ladies and Second Ladies being paid. He's inviting the Supreme Court to change the decision because he's arguing that even if you want to pay them, you cannot do so under Article 71 of the 1992 Constitution. So we'll get Abronya on the phone in a minute. But in doing so, and the reason why Abronya is a story tonight is that in doing so, in suing the Attorney General and complaining about the approval that Parliament has given to the spousal salaries, he is also reminding us of another matter. He's taking out another writ out of the Supreme Court against the Attorney General and against the minority leader in Parliament and against some MPs, and he's asking questions about double salary. He's arguing that under Article 98 of the Constitution, such persons should not have collected double salary, and they have. We know that story already, and he's asking the Attorney General in a civil suit, inviting the Supreme Court to quash that occurrence of MPs taking double salary. So Abronya, this is our first story. After that, we'll talk about Ejira. And then tonight, as we said on Twitter, I will tell you, just before Parado comes in, I will tell you why I support England in many things. I'll tell you that. Let's go to the touch screen now. Okay, so there we start right away. This is Abronya DC. They're going to call him up on the phone for us in a minute. Abronya DC is over there, Ed Godfrey Dame is over here. And so this is a writ to invoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court pursuant to Articles 2.1 and 131 of the 1992 Constitution and Rule 45.1 and 2 of the Supreme Court Rules, 1996, CI 166. This is the legal action that has been brought to the Supreme Court against the Attorney General. And it says that in the name of the Republic, you are hereby commanded within 14 days after the service of this writ. Okay, this is just, his name is Kwame Baffoe, actually. He is the one taking the legal action. Now, here is the meat of the matter. These are the reliefs that he's seeking from the Supreme Court. Relief A on your screen says that he's looking for a declaration that the approval by Parliament to pay salaries to the First and Second Ladies is inconsistent with Article 71, Clause 1 and 2 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and consequently, it should be declared null, void, and unenforceable. That's very interesting. So he's saying that the declaration, he's asking for a declaration by the Supreme Court that the approval of Parliament to pay a spousal salary to the First and Second Lady is inconsistent with Article 71, Clause 1 and 2. We'll be looking at Article 71, and we'll be talking to him on the phone in a minute. That's what he's saying here, the first declaration. He's seeking another declaration. It says he's looking for a declaration that per Article 71, 1 and 2, the positions of the First and Second Ladies of Ghana do not fall under the category of the public office holders. Okay. And then a declaration C, he's looking for a declaration that per Article 71 of the 1992 Constitution, the Republic of Ghana, the Emolument Committee is limited to recommending the salaries and other benefits and privileges of only public office holders. And those of you who are watching who don't know who Kwame Baffoe is, this is the interesting part of the story. Kwame Baffoe is a bona fide member of the New Patriotic Party, the ruling New Patriotic Party. He is the regional chairman of the Bono region. This is not his first time. He's been regional chairman of the Bono region before. Then he succeeded as a regional chairman. He's one of the biggest advocates of the MPP and one of the biggest advocates of President Akufo-Addo. But he takes takes out a writ against the government on this matter. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting internal democracy within the NPP. I was just discussing with my people when we were coming into the studio that there is another writ. There is another writ that is pending, and that's from Dafiamakpo, who is a member of parliament, about the same matter. But we chose this one because this is the story. This is an MPP guy suing the MPP for something that the MPP has done. The NDC suing the MPP is normal, so we didn't choose that story, but that's also pending. Our suspicion is that the Supreme Court will consolidate, and then they will have a look at it. So let's go and see whether we can get Article 71. But this is a declaration D. He says a declaration that per Article 108 and 178 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, Parliament cannot, on its own accord, initiate or approve payment of any such emolument which would necessarily be paid from the public funds without a bill to that effect emanating from and introduced by the government and duly passed into law. So we'll call him, but the point he's making here is that Parliament cannot, of its own accord, make additions to Article 71. Article 71 lists certain number of appointees. We'll show you in a minute that Parliament cannot, of its own accord, include or exclude for that matter. Okay. It says the capacity in which the plaintiff is bringing the action is that he's a citizen of Ghana. And we know that under the Constitution, Article 2.1, any citizen of Ghana has capacity to bring an action challenging an interpretation or an implementation of constitutional provisions. Any citizen of Ghana can challenge the implementation of constitutional provisions under Article 2.1 of the 1992 Constitution. But Abronya has another writ, which is quite interesting. Let's see whether it follows. He has another writ here, which is between himself and the following people. So whilst he's suing the Parliament about the double salaries, this same Kwame Baffoe, who is a bona fide MPP member, now resurrects another matter entitled double salary, and he's bringing that action also against the Attorney General. So he has two actions against the Attorney General, both of them formulated around Article 71, but this is a bit broader. So he brings this action between himself and the following people. He brings the action, and it's a writ to invoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court pursuant to Article 2.1.138 of the 130.1 of the 1992 Constitution and Rules 45.1 and 2 of the Supreme Court Rules 1996 CI 116. These are the people that he's bringing the action against. He's bringing the action against Idrisu Haruna, Member of Parliament for Tamale South, and also the minority leader. The action is against Alhassan Azong. He is a former Member of Parliament. It's against also Fifi Kwete, who is also a former Member of Parliament. The action is also against Eric Opoku. Is also against Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpo, Rashid Pelpo, whom we know, and our good friend Emmanuel Kofi Boa. And this action is about double salaries. The action is also filed against Edwin Nilante Vanderpoel, Member of Parliament for Dodo Diodio, Mark Owen Woyongo, who is a former Minister for the Defense, and Comfort Doi Kujo Gansa, as well as Aquinas Kwanzaa. This action is also filed against the Attorney General and the Controller and Accountant General. Abronya DC is arguing here for certain declarations by the Supreme Court. Let's see what he's looking for. Declaration A. First, that the first to 10 defendants, there are 10 people that he's suing, receiving double salaries as members of Parliament and ministers, state deputy ministers of state, Ministers of State and Deputy Ministers of State between the period of 2009 and 2016 from the Consolidated Fund is inconsistent with Article 98 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and consequently be declared now void and of no effect. Declaration B against these members of Parliament. It says, declaration that per Article 98 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, without the express permission of the Speaker of Parliament, acting on the recommendation of a Committee of Parliament, the first to 10th defendants receiving double salaries from the Consolidated Fund between 2009 and 2016 is unconstitutional, is null, and is void. He's looking for an order from the Supreme Court directing or compelling the first to 10 defendants to pay to the government of Ghana and into the Consolidated Fund the double salaries received as members of Parliament and Ministers of State or Deputy Ministers of State between the period 2009 and 2016. And here again, he says that he is a member of Parliament. Let's see whether we can get Article 71 just before we have him on the line. Can you put up Article 71 of the Constitution out there just before we take him on the line and sort of understand what he's complaining about? They'll do that soon. Okay, so this Article 71. Now, this is Article 71 upon which all of these controversies are occurring. So, Article 71, okay, let's see what it says. Determination of emoluments 71.1, it says, the salaries and allowances payable and the facilities and privileges available to D, the chairman, vice chairman, and other members of the public services. My screen is shaking. Can you straighten it? Oh, wow. Okay, let me start again. Article 71, determination of emolument. The salaries and allowances payable and the facilities and the privileges available to A, the speaker and deputy speakers and members of parliament. So these are the categories of people mentioned: the speaker, deputy speaker, and members of parliament. Let's move on. Also B, the chief justice and other justices of the Superior Court of Judicature. So these are the people who are mentioned in Article 71. The speaker, deputy speaker, members of parliament, the Lord Chief Justice and their lordships, the justices of the Supreme Court. Let's look at it. C, the Auditor General, the chairman and deputy chairman of the Electoral Commission, the Commissioner for Human Rights and Administrative Justice and his deputies, and the District Assembly's Common Fund Administrator. These are the people mentioned there. It continues. The chairman, vice chairman, and other members of a National Council for Higher Education, however so described. And then the chairman, vice chairman, and other members of the Public Services Commission, the National Media Commission, the Lands Commission, and the chairman, vice chairman, and other members of the National Commission for Civic Education, being expenditure charged on the Consolidated Fund, shall. So for all of these people, they say shall be determined. The salary of all of these people is to be determined by the president. That's what the law says. The president is determining the salaries of justices of the Supreme Court, members of parliament, speaker of parliament, deputy speaker of parliament, National Electoral Commission, chairman and vice chairman of commission, government commissions. That is all the boards that you see, every board that you see, including also the chairman of the National Commission for Civic Education, the Common Fund Administrator. All of these salaries are determined under the Constitution by the president elected under the 1992 Constitution. That's some of the things we talk about. This is the kind of power the president has. But let me not digress. Let's get on. Okay. So all of these people are the persons that the president determines. And the president determines that by setting up a committee for the committee to advise him on it. So that committee has advised the president. That's the report that went to parliament. The complaint that Abronya is making tonight is that the first lady and second lady are not mentioned here. Okay, is he on the line? Let's get him on the line, and then we can talk to him about it, because he has taken out a writ against his own government and he sued them under Article 71 of the 1992 Constitution. We'll first ask him about the suit against the salaries that have been taken, the salaries that have been approved by Parliament, and then we will ask him also about the double salaries. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Mr. Kwame Baffoe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, are you still the regional chairman of the Bono region?
I am.
But now you have taken a writ against your own party.
Thank you very much, and thank to your viewers this evening. I think this particular action has nothing to do with the New Patriotic Party. We must differentiate the government and the party. This is an action that I'm taking under Article 2(1). It has nothing to do with the New Patriotic Party. And if you look at the rate of sermons, which was filed around 12 p.m. this afternoon, the New Patriotic Party, of which I am the regional chairman, is not a party to that action. So when you ask me, it seems that the party is a defendant to the action. At the moment, the New Patriotic Party is not a party to the action, but rather, as stated in the 1992 Constitution, the proper defendant in this particular case is the Attorney General, and the Article 2(1) clearly embedded that if you want to take an action in respect of any act which is done and same is in contravention with the 1992 Constitution, the only defendant is the Attorney General and nothing else.
Okay, so the point you are making is that you have not violated party rules by taking the party to court.
Clearly, if you read Article 2(1), the Attorney General is a nominal defendant. So I've not violated any rules and regulations so far as the party constitution is concerned.
I see. Okay, so the point you are making right now is that the legal action is not against the party. We understand. But there are those who are saying that, don't you know that the First Lady and the Second Lady have a key role to play and that they are paid anyway, so we can formalize it to create more transparency?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This one, I am invoking the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court as a citizen of this country, that this particular issue, if we read Article 71, Clause 1 and Clause 2, in conjunction with Article 190 and 195, the office of the First and Second Ladies is not specifically embedded in the 1992 Constitution. And therefore, the work of the Professor Ntiamwa Committee is only limited to Article 71, Clause 1 and Clause 2.
Okay, the point you are making is that...
if you read Article 71, Clause 1 and Clause 2, nowhere did the Article 71 Clause 2 says that the office of the First and Second Ladies are part of those who are supposed to benefit from that emolument.
Okay, so...
And if anything at all, I think that the approval, and I must place on record that the approval has been speculated by the opposition party that it was done by Nana Addo Akufo-Addo because he wants his wife to enjoy, he wants the vice president wife to enjoy the salary from the ordinary police. That's not the case. They must read Article 71, Clause 2 clearly. The approval of the salary of the president and that of the vice, ministers of state, council of state, it's not done by the president. A recommendation, the committee, the work of the committee is a recommendation. And you and I know that a recommendation is not binding. And that recommendation is subject to approval by the parliament. So
well, but
we
tonight,
blame the president on that.
But parliament has approved it.
Exactly. So I am attacking. That is why if you look at my reliefs, I have not attacked the work of the committee. In view of the fact that the work of the committee is a recommendation and it's not binding. But the moment it is approved by parliament, that one is a decision that I can question.
Okay, I understand that. Before I go to the double salary that you have also sued on, do you think as a politician, don't you agree with the view as a politician that we must recognize the work of the First Lady and the Second Lady?
I am not against that because the provisions in Article 71, Clause 1 and 2 is an entrenched provision. It's an entrenched provision, and Parliament cannot use any ordinary way to amend unless there is a referendum on that. And you agree with me. So if as a nation we decide to give something to our first and second ladies, what we're supposed to do is to introduce a bill. It's to introduce a bill under Article 108. And Parliament cannot do that unless the bill is introduced on behalf of the president or any other person acting on behalf of the president. So that approval by in respect of Professor Ntiabwa Bedu committee, it means that even though the committee exceeded its jurisdiction, I don't want to go into that way. I won't talk about it because that recommendation is not binding. But the moment that recommendation has received approval by Parliament, then I have every right to question the decision of the Parliament. Because if you read specifically, like you have just quoted, Article 71, Clause 1 and Clause 2, nowhere did the office of the first and second ladies will be found.
Okay, I get your point. So you are saying that in respect of Article 71...
If as a nation we want to do something, Parliament, somebody can introduce a bill on behalf of the President under Article 108 that our first ladies are doing something important and there's a need for as a nation to take care of them. No problem. But for Parliament to exceed its jurisdiction, which is in contravention with Article 71, Clause 2, then I have every right to question that decision.
Okay.
Because the office of the first and second lady is not specifically embedded in that provision.
Okay, I understand that. Let's move on. I think your point is well made that under Article 71, which is the article under which the Ntiamwa Committee was set up to look at the emoluments, the list of persons there, as we have outlined on our touch screen, does not include the First Lady and the Second Lady.
Precisely.
And so that,
Precisely.
so whilst you are not against it, you think the way to do it is to come through Article 108 for a bill to be introduced to exercise a charge on the consolidated fund for the purpose of their salaries.
Yes, if their work is something that is going to help the nation, I'm not against it.
Okay,
but
it's still quite surprising. It's still quite surprising that Parliament, with a Speaker who is a seasoned lawyer, with a Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, with so many lawyers in the Parliament, they don't recognize that Article 71, upon which they are having the hearing, excluded the names of the persons that they were adding to the emoluments. That's quite surprising. We need to investigate that better, but it is totally shocking.
Aside that, these people had the press conference yesterday blaming the president that this particular issue was done by the president. But the most interesting issue is that when the same minority, which had the press conference yesterday, when they filed their case today at 1:40 p.m., nowhere in their relief did they say that the president actually approved certain salaries or allowances for the first and second ladies. But they were doing that to make the president and the government unpopular. But when they went to court today, I think it's important that you make your viewers go through their rate of sermon. But they had a press conference yesterday accusing the president that the president is greedy. But when they went to court today, what they said yesterday in the press conference was not captured in the action they took today.
Maybe
so
that's politics.
From it?
Maybe that's politics. But let's move on.
That is politics because they want to buy the minds of Ghanaians. True that, but actually when they were going to court, those statements cannot be found. What?
Okay, let's move on to the other rate that you filed. Can you put the photographs here? You've also filed a rate on double salary. What about that one?
For the double salary, we all know for a fact, and you all know, if we read Article 98 of the 1992 Constitution, if you are a member of Parliament, you are not supposed to hold any office, either privately or publicly. Is that not so? So when you are being nominated as a minister with a subsequent approval by Parliament, it means that you are now working as a public officer. Because the approval by Parliament means that Parliament has through the Speaker, has given you the permission to work in a public office. And if you are appointed as a minister or deputy minister, your salary allowances and whatever is contained in that office will be determined under Article 71 cross 2. So for a particular person to be taking salary as a member of parliament and at the same time as a minister of state, it's in contravention with Article 98. You are not supposed to take salary as a member of parliament and at the same time minister of state, because Article 98 says that if you are a member of parliament, you are not supposed to hold any office, either privately or publicly. You can only do that with the permission of the speaker. So if you are a member of parliament and you are fortunate enough to be appointed as a minister or deputy minister, and then you get approval from parliament, the literal understanding or meaning is that with that approval is that you have been permitted to hold a public office.
I get the point.
When you get approval as a member of parliament from parliament, it means that you have been given the permission to hold a public office. In that respect, you are supposed to be paid as a minister of state under Article 71 cross 2.
Okay, I get the point. Let me come back to the emolument. So the people are responding that what the first lady and the second lady receive are allowances. They're actually not salaries. Does it change anything with the context of Article 71? Because it's allowances to support the work that they do. And we all know the work that they have been doing. We know the work that Rebecca Akufo-Addo did at Kumasi Hospital, and Konfo Teaching Hospital and Kolebu Hospital.
It's a good work they have been doing. Once Parliament did the approval under Article 71 cross 2, is still in contravention with the law.
Okay, so would you support a bill, like some of us will support a bill that says that let's have a way to formalize the allowances that goes to the first lady and second lady because of the tangible work we see that they are doing?
If that bill will be supported by the entire House of Parliament, it means, you know, our parliamentarians are representing the entire nation, right?
Yes.
If the bill will be supported by the entire Parliament, if the bill will receive a unanimous decision, it means that everybody in the country is in support.
Well,
we are in support of it.
But everybody in the...
I have no problem that as a nation we will follow the due process that something should be given to our first ladies. And if Ghanaians agree, no problem. But you agree with me that about 90%, even though the same Ghanaians who are now criticizing the ex-gratia issue are the same people who went to the referendum in 1992. Is that not it? Because
yes.
This is something that is there when the 1992 constitution came into force.
Okay, but every Ghanaian has seen the work of Rebecca Akufo-Addo, at least in the two hospitals. Haven't you seen it?
I have witnessed a lot.
Okay, so, but...
I have personally witnessed a lot. I have witnessed a lot of work Samira Baumia is doing. But I am saying that the particular committee, the particular committee upon which Parliament took the decision is in contravention with Article 72, Article 71 cross 2.
Okay, I think I get your point. We'll continue the conversation. That's Abronye Kwame Baffoe, who is talking to us from Bono region. He is the MPP regional chairman for the region, and his view of the matter is that he supports the work of the First Lady, and everyone sees the work they are doing. But if we want to regularize their allowances, not salaries, their allowances, then it has to be done another way, not under Article 71 of the Constitution. We put out Article 71 and we listed the people whose salaries are to be determined by the president. The president is to be advised by a committee that he, the president, will set up to determine their salaries, that those persons did not include Her Excellency the First Lady and the Second Lady. That's the reason why Abronya is in court against the Attorney General. And also to sum up, he's also in court against these individuals for alleging that they have taken double salaries in the past, and that's also a contravention of the Constitution. He's asking the Constitution to declare null and void. The persons include Al-Hassan Zongo, Fifi Kwete, and Eric Opoku, Abdul Rashid Pelpo, Emmanuel Kofi Boa, Edwin Nilante, Vanderpoy, Mark Woyongo, and Comfort Doe Kujo, as well as Aquinas Consa. And that action, he's filing it against the Attorney General. Let's move on to Ejura now. And our big interview tonight is with George Opariado, the leader of the demonstration that occurred in Accra on Tuesday. So let's move to the Ejura story now. So we know that the committee is going on, is hearing the matter, so we will not say a lot. But something has come up in the conversation where media is being accused of being responsible, especially multimedia and other radio stations, being accused of being responsible for the crisis. The center of the controversy is that the committee and those who agree with the committee are alleging that media published something which was wrong. And it is this publication of the matter that was wrong that then set out the anger and the fury in Ejura that occasioned, that brought about the shootings that the committee is investigating. And so there's been a lot of talk about it, and some people have been very angry with it. What we are going to do now is set out some questions for our viewers to look at. And if we answer these questions one way or the other, we can make a determination whether it was wrong or not. And then we'll look at the Electronic Communications Act. So let's first look at the questions that we are setting out. We are mindful that the committee is still sitting, and so we are not able to go as far as we would normally go on a television program because the committee is still sitting. Now, let's answer these questions and then be candid and clear whether media could have been responsible for something. The first question we put is, did the media publish news that indicated that the murder of Kaka was politically motivated, that he had been killed because he was advocating against government? That's the first question we're asking. Was there actually publication in the news that indicated that the murder of Kaka was politically motivated? Politically motivated just means that he was killed for holding or expressing some political views. We know about the issue about Fix the Country and all that. Tonight, Fix the Country is suing, or they are going to Shraj to insist that Kaka was their member, because the committee has said that Kaka was not a member of Fix the Country. I don't know whether he was a member or not, but you know, because they say he put up some videos and said he agrees with Fix the Country, something like that. But this is the first question we asked. Did the media publish news that indicated that the murder of Kaka was politically motivated, that he had been killed because he was advocating against the government of the MPP? The second question, flowing from the first, is this. Did or could such publication have been the potential, did or could such publication have the potential to infuriate the youth in Ejura? If there was a publication that Kaka had been killed because he held certain political positions, because he was making the government unpopular, could that have been, could that have the potential to infuriate the youth of Ejura? You can answer the question in the affirmative or the negative, how you see it. We'll lead you to the Electronic Communications Act and see what is there about media responsibility. The third one is this. If the reports, as published by media, especially multimedia, had made false attributions, then did such report pass the regular test for the publication? Let's read that again. We are asking, if the report as published by media, especially multimedia, had made false attributions, those reports that were published, if they made false attributions, then did such report pass the regular test for a publication? Because there's usually a regular test for a publication. When you want to publish something, you take it through a test. Is it true? Is it verifiable? Is it helping society? Blah, blah, blah. There's a test for it. And if such reports that were published by multimedia in the attempt to broadcast the news, if it had false attributions, and that's why we put a big if there, that has to be ascertained. If it had false attributions in the story, did it pass this test for the regular story? Number 4, if not, have such media houses violated provisions under the Electronic Communications Act? And that's the last question, that if such reports as published had false attributions, at all the questions that we have asked, if all those questions are answered in the affirmative, can we say that the media houses violated the provisions under the Electronic Communications Act? Now, let's show you an example of a Facebook post of one of such important journalists before we come to the Electronic Communications Act. This is the post of Manasseh Azuri, who is with the Fourth Estate. And Manasseh put up this post on 30th June at 5:43. Okay, 05:43, that's in the morning, very early in the morning. He said, the soldiers who killed were deployed by the government after a mob killed an activist for making the government unpopular. That's a post from an important journalist. He said, the soldiers who killed, and I'm hoping that the committee can invite people who made posts so that they can go before the committee and explain what they know that maybe other people didn't know. Of course, journalists always have information that other people don't have. That's the work we do. But the committee must be able to call such people who made public posts to ascertain that, can you help the committee with the information? But this is what was written. And this kind of thought, this train of thoughts, sort of permeated through the media, some of the media throughout the process. He said the soldiers who killed were deployed by the government after a mob killed an activist for making the government unpopular. So attributions have been made here. Well, whether it's false or not, attributions have been made. The attributions that have been made is that the mob had killed the government, had killed Kaka because Kaka was allegedly making the government unpopular. This is an important post. Now, if I'm a young person in Nigeria and I see this, and I ask myself, why should, that's what you heard Kennedy Japan say. He said, has it come to that? That's what everybody will say. Has it come to that? People die because they are making the government unpopular. People die because they say something about the government. Is that where we have come to in Ghana in 2021? That's what this post is suggesting. Let's look at the Electronic Communications Act. They'll put it up right now, and then you can see it. And then we can look at what should guide the committee in doing these things. Okay, so Electronic Communications Act 2008, Act 775. It's entitled False Communication, Section 71(1). It reads as follows. A person who by means of electronic communication service knowingly sends a communication which is false or misleading and likely to prejudice the efficiency of life-saving service or to endanger the safety of any person, ship, aircraft, vessel, or vehicle commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not more than 3,000 penalty units or a term of imprisonment of not more than 5 years or both. That's in the Electronic Communications Act, Section 76(1). Let's look at 76(2). 76(2) says that a person is taken to know that a communication is false or misleading if that person did not take reasonable steps to find out whether the communication was false, misleading, reckless, or fraudulent. That's what it is. That's the law that Parliament passed in 2008. And so when people come and say that, oh, Kaka was killed because he was advocating for fix the country, and the MP people went and killed him, people can say that on the street, but a journalist and a media house cannot broadcast anything that looks like that or cannot broadcast anything that sounds like that. Whether it's on Facebook or it's in the studio or it's on the platform, journalists cannot broadcast that. As part of ethics, as part of training, but now it has been criminalized under the Electronic Communications Act, Section 76(1) and 2. And it says that a person is taken to know that a communication is false. That is, it will be imputed to you that you are aware that what you are publishing is false if that person did not take reasonable steps to find out whether the communication was false, misleading, reckless, or fraudulent. This is one. A person by means of electronic communication service knowingly sends a communication which is false or misleading and likely to prejudice the efficiency of life-saving service or to endanger the safety of any person, ship, aircraft, vessel, or vehicle, commits an offense, that means a crime, and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not more than 3,000 penalty units or a term of imprisonment of not more than 5 years in prison. That's what the law says. This law is supposed to protect all of us. Let's look at the Facebook post again, and then let's see what happened, and then you can then look at the questions and make a determination whether the media houses who publish it or not. Now here it is. The soldiers who killed were deployed by the government after a mob killed an activist for making the government unpopular. I believe that the committee of the Interior Minister, I mean, they have their own terms of reference, but I believe they should be interested in the origin of this, because it may lead us to a conclusion. It may lead us to a genuine conclusion, but you cannot put this out if it is false. This is dangerous journalism, because people who occupy important positions must understand what they can do and what they cannot do. This one is clearly dangerous, and that is why it is punished when the Parliament was writing the law of Electronic Communications Act. Today had not happened, a juror had not happened, but in the wisdom of the Parliament, they wanted to protect Ghana because they understand that all of these gadgets have come and all of these platforms has come. A post like this is just utterly dangerous. Let's go back and hear what Kennedy Japan says, and then we continue with the program. Kennedy Japan speaks. Here, that's what he said.
To go on demonstration talking about security. They got nerves. But you know, we have to tolerate them because it's politics. Have they forgotten about themselves? NDC? I want every Ghanaian with that political tag to say that there is insecurity in our safety, but not NDC. The atrocities committed by these people in this country, they got nerves.
NDC, are you talking PNDC?
Both. NDC, PNDC, NDC, both. And I was surprised at Totobi Kwachi commenting of security. Totobi Kwachi talking about security.
What has he done? He was Minister of National Security.
Good. And so what did he do?
Tell us, what did he
do?
In
his time. Crimes that were committed.
Yeah, but nobody prosecuted him. Nobody ever prosecuted him for anything.
Yeah, because even he, you know, when they, I don't know what.
I mean, we don't know that whether Totobi Kwachi committed crimes.
I'm saying he was in charge.
Yes, he was
security.
Minister of National Security.
Right. And what happened during his term?
We don't know. Did he commit any crime?
Are you saying that Kandapa has committed any crime?
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, so if you ask that question.
But they didn't say that. NDC people didn't say that.
I'm saying that they are talking of insecurity in this country. And I'm referring to Totobi Kwachi talking about insecurity in this country.
You mean he has no legitimacy to speak
at all?
Why?
Because during his tenure, we all saw and experienced what happened in Ghana. But who could even talk?
But you're not saying...
Who could even talk?
But that was 1997.
That was...
Yeah, but that was private radio and private television. People were talking.
That was 1997.
Yeah, people were talking in 1997.
And so if he committed a crime in 1997...
Did he commit a crime?
I mean, atrocities that were committed under his tenure when he was national security.
But you haven't given me one example yet.
1,001 examples that I can
Just give us one.
A lot. And have you forgotten? I'm surprised. I want the answer from you, because you know.
Well, I don't know whether he has committed any crimes, to be quite.
You see, I am not saying.
You mean the things that happened under his watch?
Yes. You don't understand the word tenure?
I get it, but like
yeah,
what?
Yeah. So don't put words in my mouth. But I said to Toby Kwachi.
Yeah, you say he hasn't done it.
He was
supervising the thing.
And the SSS that time.
Okay, so George Oparado is here. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Paul.
And thank you very much. We're going to talk about you're healthy, you're fine?
Very well.
There was no problem? No. Okay. Was it a good exercise? Were you tired after Accra Mall all the way? What, 10 kilometers?
9.
9 kilometers? I see. You got some water to drink?
Certainly you drink water.
Okay, that's George Oparado. After the break, we will talk about him after the break.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X natural mineral water. Simply natural.
Masa, jam Maria, I'm kind of coffee. I am doing more budget bonnet jam. Why? Have a beer, you can be people. Why?
HD logo the bottom. Where you say HD local channels na mo hero. And so pictures here clear. E 5 times better. As other channels can go be show hormone. So go dey mention mon tram rakra why. Oh, what the pictures.
Who knows tomorrow?
What the picture? What you AD plus decoder or multi TV and now electoral agent PR. Natural local channels now HD mu the here so better
star 879 hash
numbers from people box and now you activate AD channels now.
Get an HD Plus decoder from now till the 9th of August for just $89.99 Ghana cedis and enjoy 3 months free subscription. Enjoy all the excitement and live sports action in the HD Plus Air Bosso Philly promo. Promo lasts from 7 June to 9 August 2021. Visit hd-plus.com.gh or call 024-243-9872 for more info.
Half a nose for good things.
Okay, welcome to the show again. Warrior, is that okay to call you that?
It will not be out of place.
George Opariado, so you are the National Youth Organizer of the NDC.
That's
What
correct.
you're a member of the National Executive?
Yes.
What's your role?
I'm in charge of mobilizing young people in the NDC.
Mobilizing all the young people?
Every young person. So every activism that has got to do with young people is the role of the National Youth Organizer to undertake. So that is what I basically do.
I see. Did you have the Fix the Country people say you shouldn't join them in their demonstration? I see my research brought up something like that. It says that Fix the Country declined the NDC Youth Wing's request to join the Fix the Country demonstration and assimilate the larger movement. The convener of the movement does not quite believe that Fix the Country and the NDC Youth Wing have to become aligned. Opariado subsequently asserted that the Fix the Country movement cannot by itself get the same results as the NDC Youth can, because the party has a more structured and resourced base and offers a greater platform for Fix the Country to make its case, considering the waning public sympathy for partisan figures, entities, and their actions. What does he have to say to people who suspect that the NDC only wishes to align with Fix the Country solely to carry favor with the public or score political points? That's a question for you. It continues, says he can't deny that the NDC becoming a white knight for Fix the Country will be very strategic. What's the issue? What's with NDC Fix the Country?
For me personally, I don't think there is any issue with NDC and Fix the Country. Paul, is like two people traveling the same destination. The vehicles we are using are different vehicles. The vehicle we are using is the vehicle of the National Democratic Congress. Their vehicle is a Fix the Country vehicle. We are all calling on reforms. We are all asking governments to address the many challenges that confronts young people, We're asking government to fix our educational systems. We're asking government to fix the economy. We're asking government to check corruption. We're also asking government to account for its stewardship. And most importantly, we are demanding justice for everybody who has been murdered or maimed under mysterious circumstances. Those are the things we are demanding. If you look at what Fix the Country is also asking for, these are very similar. Just that, the last time I engaged one of them on radio, they were demanding for a new constitution. Yes. That is where we depart. Because
you don't want a new national constitution?
Ghana doesn't need a new constitution.
I have been demanding it too.
The constitution we have is a living document. We can demand reforms. We can,
an entirely new constitution. No amendments is what we are asking
for. What they are asking for, so I asked that. What exactly do they want? Should we abandon the fourth Republican constitution and then introduce a new constitution? Clearly that is not what anybody is asking for. But that is what they are demanding. It's not feasible. What they can call for are amendments to the constitution. Some reforms. Yes, for instance, the age for one to become president at 40. I believe that we are a young population. We cannot still keep 40 years. Maybe we should be looking at coming out to 30 or 35.
Oh, you want it down. I want it up.
No. Because you see, we've seen young guys do great things. Look at the guys who started Facebook. Yeah. Look at the guys who brought Zoom. Today, Zoom is big. So there are a lot of innovations happening. Look at fintech. So young guys are doing great things. So you cannot tie the age at 40.
Oh, that's interesting. You want it down.
So I want it down. I don't have a problem. And I know they want something similar. But to ask for a new constitution entirely.
Maybe they don't mean a new one. They just mean something.
No, I've engaged them on one of your TV stations here. Okay. And they were calling for a new constitution. They are also asking for a national development plan. And what I was telling them is that currently Ghana has a national development plan. Under Dr. Nimoy Thompson, we developed a 40-year development plan. That is already available. So call for its implementation or call for it, let's have a national dialogue on it, let's discuss it and let's see whether we can work with it. But to call for all these new things is not feasible. You can't obtain it. And that is where we depart.
What happened with what occurred in Ghana with the Fix the Country hustle with the police for a month without securing the police consent for a demonstration? And when you stepped in, you had the same response. You didn't give up and you went in further, and one day we just saw Facebook messages that the police have agreed on the demonstration. It gave a sense to some civil society people that Ghana is actually under the hijack of political parties, two political parties, you, the NDC and the MPP. Some people were even teasing the Fix the Country people that you don't have good lawyers. George Aparado is a good lawyer. And he went in with some George, another good lawyer. You don't have good lawyers, so the police, you couldn't put the law to the police. They went and they got the demonstration done. What happened? Would you, if you were not in NDC and you were sitting back, would you be concerned about fairness?
Paul, I was worried, just like any other Ghanaian, when Fix the Country were denied their rights to demonstrate. Because you see, Paul, I cannot take your life. You have a right to live. If I want to take your life, it is only a court of competent jurisdiction that can grant that. That same right you have to live is the same right I have to demonstrate. It is my right. You can never take that away from me. When I first wrote to the police that I wanted to embark on a demonstration, I quoted Section 1 of Act 419 and told them that I needed to give them 5 days notice. I wrote my letter to them on the 30th of June and told them that between the 30th of June and then the 6th of July are 6 clear days. So I have satisfied that requirement and I expect them to allow me to go on with my demonstration. That same day, the police wrote back to me. I addressed my letter to the IGP and then I copied the regional command. I did not receive a letter immediately from the IGP. I received a letter from the regional command. And the regional command cited 2 laws. They cited EI 395 as the basis. They did not tell me that I could not proceed on my demonstration. So we need to understand that. What they said was that there was COVID, there was the Imposition and Restrictions Act, that is 1012, and that there is EI 395 still in force. And then they also cited Section 4 of the Act 491, that is the Public Order Act, and said that based on these 2 laws, the police could not come and provide security. Immediately I saw that letter, I laughed at it because I knew that 395 had expired a long time ago. and that 157 had been introduced and passed and had also expired. After 157, the government had not gone before Parliament with a new EI.
Yeah.
So I knew that these laws were not in existence. I also knew that Section 4 of Act 491 refers to emergency powers given to the Interior Minister when Ghana is under curfew. And as at 30th June, there was no curfew in any part of Ghana, not even in Nigeria. So there was no curfew anywhere. So I wrote back to the police and called off their bluff. And I told them that, you know what? I am telling you that I will be in the streets demonstrating. And you know what to do. You know that I don't need any permission from you. I have alerted you. You are mandated to do your job. And if by Friday I have not heard from you, I'll be compelled to go to court, seek a mandamus from a writ, or issue a writ of mandamus, and compel you to come and do your job. Because you are paid to protect citizens. And apart from that, you have no other business. And if you don't want this demonstration to come on, then you know what to do. Go to court on notice. Invite me and let me come. And then let's argue before a judge. And let the judge listen to the two of us. When that happens, then you can stop me. But when I'm in the street demonstrating, you can't arrest me for anything. Because I've notified you. It is only when I refuse to give you notice, then you can charge me for not serving you the appropriate notice. Luckily for me, Friday morning. So I was in Edra, so I came back Thursday evening. Then Friday morning, I get a call from the IGP's office that the IGP wanted to engage with myself and then my team. So I quickly called my general secretary and my national chairman and I said, so our people were like, oh, we shouldn't even go. They are going to serve us with an injunction. I said, if an injunction was served, I was going to disregard it because based on said Dennis Ejay's ruling, you cannot go to court ex parte. That means you are still doing an illegal, what you are doing was an illegality. So we went.
The Supreme Court has recently affirmed.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court just affirmed it. So I was very convinced that any other thing they bring, ex parte motions, I will disregard it. I will not accept it. And if only Judge Oparado will be in the streets on that day, I will prove to the state that you cannot hold somebody's rights against his wishes. I was going to demonstrate anyway, anyhow. And one man can stage a demonstration. It doesn't matter how many people. And I had committed members of the National Democratic Congress who were willing to come out in the streets and demonstrate with me. Luckily for us, when we met the IGP, there were apologies rendered. He told us that he's withdrawn the letter from the regional command unconditionally because the letter was not even addressed to the regional command. But the truth was that it was embarrassing for the regional command to even quote laws that had expired.
That's very embarrassing.
Very, very embarrassing. And you see, it got international media attention. And for a young Judge Oparado telling the whole Ghana police that you are quoting laws that have expired, it was an indictment on the police. So I believe that it was a safe-facing gimmick to allow us to demonstrate. But we didn't do anything extraordinary. We only stood our grounds and told them that this is a matter of rights.
In that meeting, then draw the IGP's attention that on the basis of this, you have been unfair to the Fix the Country people?
The IGP himself said it, that he had engaged them.
The Fix the Country
Yes,
people.
and let me sit here and let me commend the IGP. Very professional police officer. I had never encountered him before. I had never encountered him before. I had lambasted him.
With him.
I had lambasted him. I had lambasted him severally on several platforms. But when I encountered him, the professionalism he exhibited, I cannot lie about it. He showed real professionalism. Like he had even engaged the Fix the Country people, and that they've agreed on the dates that they could go on their demonstration.
So their demonstration is going to happen?
I hear so.
Are you going to participate? No, you're not allowed to participate. They don't want you to participate in their demonstration.
You see, when I'm Ghanaian first and foremost, before NDC.
Yeah.
And I told the conveners of Fix the Country that, you see, they are mistaken. If you want to do a successful demonstration in this country, and you think you can play out the two major political parties, yes, you may call it a demonstration, but you see the numbers. I would demonstrate with them if the day comes, because I am Ghanaian. And the issues that confront them, there are some of them, apart from their need for a new constitution, every other issue that they are up against are similar issues the NDC is up against. So if that day comes and I'm available and nothing takes me out of Accra and it's being staged in Accra, I will join them. Because I'm Ghanaian. And I believe that it is only by mounting constant pressure on the Akufo-Addo government that we will get this country fixed.
I see. Okay, so your demonstration was about justice, wasn't it?
It was, if you read our letter to the police and then our petition, it was not just about justice. Like I said, justice was one aspect of it, but there were other issues that we demonstrated about. For instance, the hardship in the economy, the lack of jobs, the politicization of the state security services, and most importantly, the extrajudicial killings that have gone on in this country in the last 4 years. And when I say extrajudicial, until a judge passes judgment that your life should be taken, if anybody in uniform opens fire and kills 1 or 2 people, it becomes extrajudicial because he does not have the authority to kill.
Is there insecurity in Ghana?
Of course, yes. You see, the argument about insecurity can be looked at from 2 different perspectives. When you compare our case to the sub-region, you may be tempted to say that Ghana is peaceful. But we don't compare ourselves to the sub-region. We compare ourselves to the standards and what prevailed before the administration that is currently in government took over. So if you look at the situation currently, Paul, you cannot say there is no insecurity. If one life is even lost, you see, the social contract we have with government is that we have surrendered our sovereignty to the government. That is why when I walk around, I don't carry a gun around my waist, because I believe that somebody is being paid to take care of me. But if I come out of your studios and I'm attacked, I'm going home and I'm looking behind me because I am scared, then what it simply means is that I must begin to provide my own security. And immediately that happens, then we are in a state of insecurity. But whether we like it or not, no matter how we sugarcoat it, as it stands now, there is insecurity.
Canada, Japan thinks that we are not, he's a chairman of the Joint Committee of Interior and Defense. He thinks that we are not in a state of insecurity, but he also thinks that the NDC should not be the people to talk about insecurity. I'd like you to watch what he told us on Tuesday night on this program, and then you can react to it. Here's Canada Japan speaking to us on Tuesday night.
You see, I'm surprised NDC got nerves to go on demonstration talking about security. They got nerves. But, you know, we have to tolerate them because it's politics. Have they forgotten about themselves? NDC? I want every Ghanaian with that political tag to say that there is insecurity in our service, but not NDC. The atrocities committed by these people in this country, they got nerves.
NDC, are you talking PNDC?
Both. NDC, PNDC, NDC, both. And I was surprised at Totobi Kwachi commenting of security. Totobi Kwachi talking about security.
What has he done? He was Minister of National Security.
Good. And so what did he do?
Tell us, what did he
do?
In
his time. Crimes that were committed.
Yeah, but nobody prosecuted him. Nobody ever prosecuted him for anything.
Yeah, because even him, you know, when they, I don't know what.
I mean, we don't know that whether Totobi Kwachi committed crimes.
I'm saying he was in charge.
Yes, he was
security.
Minister of National Security.
Right, and what happened during his term?
We don't know. Did he commit any crime?
Are you saying that Kandapa has committed any crime?
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, so if you ask that question.
But they didn't say that. NDC people didn't say that.
I'm saying that they are talking of insecurity in this country. And I'm referring to Totobi Kwachi talking about insecurity in this country.
You mean he has no legitimacy to speak
at all?
Why?
Because during his tenure, we all saw and experienced what happened in Ghana. Who could even talk?
But you're not saying...
Who could even talk?
But that was 1997.
That was...
Yeah, but that was private radio and private television. People were talking.
That was 1997.
Yeah, people were talking in 1997.
And so if he committed a crime in 1997...
Did he commit a crime?
I mean, atrocities that were committed under his tenure when he was national security.
But you haven't given me one example yet.
1,001 examples that I can
Just give us one.
A lot. And have you forgotten? I'm surprised. I want the answer from you, because you know.
Well, I don't know whether he has committed any crimes, to be quite.
You see, I am not saying...
You mean the things that happened under his watch?
Yes. You don't understand the word tenry?
I get it, but like what?
Yeah, so don't put words in my mouth that I said to Toby Kwachi.
Yeah, you say he hasn't done it.
He was
supervising the
yes,
thing.
And the excesses.
So that's Kennedy Japan thinking that, as you heard him say, NDC got nerves. Yeah. Do you agree with him?
People like Kennedy they live in their own world. So when they speak, I treat it as such, and I'll tell you why. He's being accused in some quarters about the murder of Ahmed Swale. He's come out to defend himself publicly. He's being accused for committing many other offenses in this country, in issues of land litigations and what have you. He thinks it is all fine. Mind you, Paul, when we talk about state of insecurity, it is not just about people killing or murdering people, no. But when even there are robbery cases on the increase, look at the menace with Galamsey. Look at the arms in the Galamsey sites.
The proliferation of small arms.
Small arms. When the police or military go and raid these Galamsey sites, we see the excavators, but we don't see the ammunitions. Today, some roads are very dangerous to travel on at nights. Areas that
the Gimpa road.
Even Gimpa. In Accra, because there is a lot of activity, when there is crime in big cities, I don't have a problem. Because everywhere in this world, big cities are notorious, known for crimes. But areas where traditionally you will not find armed robbery happening, today, armed robbery is on the increase. In the eastern region, the areas where, I'm from the eastern region, the areas where you will never daydream of thinking about armed robbery, today is happening. So if you sit in the comfort of Accra, and Kennedy is a rich man, so I'm sure he has private screening guys all around him, so he doesn't feel it. But he should ask the market woman who wakes up at dawn and ties her cloth around her waist with money in it, and when she's traveling, how scared she is. Ask the people who travel the Accra-Kumasi roads, the Accra-Tamale roads.
That's an old story. Accra-Kumasi road and highway robberies.
But now I'm telling you that areas where we knew where they used to have robberies. Now areas that robberies were alien, it is happening today. Apart from that, there are, in the last 1 week, pick the dailies, almost every morning, in the front page of one newspaper or the other, somebody has been murdered here, somebody has been killed here for ritual, somebody has been beheaded. It gets scary for everybody. For instance, people like us, when we are in town and we don't get home, our wives are worried, our mothers are worried. Are you home? Are you home? 5, 6 years ago, I could go anywhere and nobody cared about what time I was coming home. But today, when you're out for even 2 hours, 3 hours, and you call your phone and they can't reach you, there is panic. And you think that is not insecurity. Paul, in the
Is it being better reported? Are we getting more reports from it? That's why.
No, Paul.
Is it that we're
Paul,
reporting
crime
more?
is happening. Let's take data. Let's look at what the police have. Let's compare crime rates in the last 5 years. Is it an ascendancy or is it declining? Then we can make this assessment.
Globally, it's an ascendancy. Globally.
Globally, yeah.
Yes.
But you see, I started by telling you that I will not look at my arguments globally. I'll look at it with the situation that prevailed a year ago compared to today. Because I live in Ghana. Maybe I may not have, I've never traveled outside before. The ordinary Ghanaian, so many people have never been anywhere before. So their standard is what prevails in this country. So I look back 5 years ago, I look back 3 years ago, and then I look at the situation today, and then I make the comparison. When you compare me to America, how much is the per capita income of the American people? Am I being paid the same way they are paying people in America? Certainly not. So I'm concerned more about what happens here in my country. What happened 2 years ago, what happened last year, and what is currently happening. Ghana is in a state of insecurity. We cannot run away from that. You see, when we admit it, then we can find pragmatic measures of addressing it. But if we choose to play politics with it, because once I do an admission and my government is in power, then it means that my government is not doing well. When we appreciate that this is what the situation is, and we need a bipartisan discussion, so that we can all collectively come on board, because crime knows no color. The day they choose to attack me, they wouldn't care whether I'm NDZ or I'm NPP. It's the same way the day they choose to attack you. Don't ask which party you belong to. When the man is hungry, and you see the difficulty we have is, look at the number of street kids coming up on our streets every day. The number keeps increasing.
Because we're having too many children?
No, because there are no job opportunities out there.
I'll come to the job issue. I'll come to the job issue. Somebody asked me a question specifically about jobs. But producer, can you please get the video of the receiving the petition, which we had used on Tuesday? When you get it, let me know the receiving petition, because I want to ask him questions about it, because he raised issues about the receiving the petition. Whilst we do that, let me ask you if you can divulge it. How was the operation that day? What time did you get up in the morning?
Oh, I left my house at 6 a.m.
Oh, as late as 6?
6
I thought 3 a.m.
No.
Okay.
No.
So the route was given by the police, right?
No, we chose the route.
Oh, you chose the route?
So one of the things we did at the police headquarters was, our original letter had 3 routes. We asked people to come all the way from La Paz and come and meet us in front of the Flagstaff House. Another group should come from the Medina Legon side and come to the Flagstaff House. And one group should come from the Accra and through Osu, and let's all converge at the Flagstaff House. But when we met the police, they told us that they didn't have enough men, and if we wanted all those routes, then clearly it means they have to recall all their men in Ghana to come and support. So it was not feasible. So we needed to agree on a route. We wanted to do something on Orthodox, because usually the normal demonstration spot is the Bra spots, where everybody converges. So for the first time, we've never had a demonstration coming from the Accra Mall.
Yes.
Yes. But we knew that the numbers would turn out, because people wanted to come out and vent their anger. So we decided.
So you excluded the Central Business District?
We excluded it.
For peace sake?
No, because of COVID. You see, I was also looking at numbers, because that side is densely populated. So when you do any demonstration in there, the number of people that will turn out, it already attracts circle. You know what happens in that enclave, Adabraka. But I wanted to avoid that, because I was looking at making sure everybody was in a nose mask, and you can see every single demonstrator had a nose mask on, because we insisted. We had people in the team.
No, this one speaking has a nose mask down. No, he's wearing it on his chin. Who's that?
No, that is my deputy, Ruth. The last said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, usually when people are speaking, they want to drop their nose masks for whatever reason. But everybody in there, as part of the demonstration, because we insisted, we gave out free nose masks, and we wanted to make sure that we will be able to control the numbers so that it doesn't get out of hand. That is how come we chose that route. But I was even surprised at the numbers that turned out.
So you called did you have people from outside Accra come?
No.
All your points in Accra. So you have some your ward, your constituency organizers and all that.
So what we did was we asked the constituencies to see to it that people come. And we did a lot of social media adverts, because that was all we could afford. So nobody was bad.
There you are. Can you freeze that? Let's see. Can you freeze it? If you can take it back and freeze it. I want to talk about his clothing. That's my friend Johnson Asedun Ketia over there. Okay, yeah, this is it. What's this? Are you Julius Malema? What is this?
It's a Batakari.
Is it Batakari?
Yeah.
What is in it? Is it medicine? Is it juju?
There is no juju.
Okay, let me tell my viewers on. Come back to me. Let me do the transfer. Social media continues. Metro TV. Good night, and then we'll continue on social media. What's our time now? Okay, we're just 10:26. We'll go on for a little while. It's an interesting conversation. We haven't gotten to the meat of the matter yet. We'll get there. So, good night, Metro TV, social media. Thanks for staying with us. Okay, let's put his
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
For over 2 decades, we have communicated with our audience through our stories. And in the past few years, a new wave of telling stories has emerged.
You're perfectly fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The right insurance means that you can get the medical help you need whenever you need it.
You're okay.
No, I doubt.
With Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, you can get up to 80 Ghana cedis worth of insurance per night for up to 40 nights with just a premium of 5 Ghana cedis. All you have to do is dial *110# to access your Vodafone Cash menu. Select financial services and follow the prompts to pay for your insurance wherever, whenever. Simple as that. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance. Your medical care, our concern.
HD logo the bottom. Where you say HD local channels na mo hedo. And so pictures here clear. E 5 times better. Ese other channels say go be show hormone. So go dey mention mo ntram ra kra why. Oh, what a pictures.
Who knows tomorrow?
No, it's better. What a picture. Could you AD plus decoder or multi TV and now Electroland agent PR natural local channels now HD the here's of better
star 879 hash
numbers from Kubo box and now the activity AD channels now.
Get an HD Plus decoder from now till the 9th of August for just 89.99 Ghana cedis and enjoy 3 months free subscription. Enjoy all the excitement and live sports action in the HD Plus Air Bosso Fili promo. Promo lasts from 7 June to 9th August 2021. Visit hd-plus.com.gh or call 024-243-9872 for more info.
Half a nose for good things.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moment. Live from Ekwabwaima Studio, number 9, Dr. Isa. Live from Ekwabwaima Studio, number 9, Dr. Isa Street, Northridge.
Well, it's 10:30 p.m. and the news has just begun. Good evening and welcome to Newsline on Metro TV. We're live on DSTV, channel 277. We're also streaming live on Facebook at Metro News and on Twitter at Metro TV GH. I am Moro Awudu. Coming up this evening, the Attorney General's office has been sued by 2 NDC MPs over Parliament approval of salaries for the spouses of the President and Vice President. We will be delving into the 8 reliefs they are seeking from the Supreme Court. Also coming up, enough is enough. Nigerians protest against a scourge of kidnapping, banditry. We will bring you updates on what's happening in that West African neighbor. Newsline is always brought to you by Delta Paper, producers of floral disposable tissue. Newsline returns shortly.
Do not drop the awareness. The fight is still on. Constant disinfection is still very pivotal in the fight against COVID-19. Call an expert today on 020-300-4055 or 050-126-5426 to ensure your space is disinfected. The search for a reliable partner in dealing with your U-turn bus needs has been made easier and convenient with SA Automotive.